We are moving on to our last bit for this event today, and that's panel 2. Panel 2 will tackle social aspects of walkability. It's going to be moderated by Ms. Savitha Rao. Savitha is an Indian entrepreneur, author, and sustainability advocate dedicated to promoting eco friendly practices and active citizenship. As an author, Savitha has penned a book called India Positive Citizen: Building a Great Nation, One India Positive Action at a Time, a book that provides actionable ideas for individuals to contribute to nation building through consistent positive actions. Joining her will be the panelists Ms. Ratoola Kundu, Mr. Raju Waghmare, Dr. Prakash Borgaonkar, and Mr. Rishi Aggarwal. Yes, Savitha, let's begin. Hello. Hello. Um, Vedant, you have to put on the PPT for Savitha.
So good evening, everyone. It's wonderful to be here and to have an audience at this time of the show. We are here to talk about the social cost of unwalkable cities. Who gets left behind? Walkability is not just about convenience; it's about safety, inclusion and dignity. We often think of walkability as a minor urban issue, but it's more than that. It's about who gets to move freely in our cities and who doesn't. A city that's not walkable tells that, if you're old, you don't have to, you can't walk. If you are differently abled, stay home. If you are poor, then your walking is not a priority. So our panel discussion is to discuss on briefly on these aspects of walkability. We have a wonderful panel here. Let me start with Dr. Prakash Borgaonkar. He's been working with senior citizens on senior citizen issues for the last 38 years. For 36 years, he was with HelpAge, and now he's the CEO of Aji Care Sevak Foundation. He's been quoted widely in national and international media on senior citizen issues. And he's one of the committee members who drafted the state policy for older persons, which was announced by the Maharashtra government in 2013. He trains police personnel on elderly issues, and he also works with the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. Next, we have Mr. Raju Waghmare. He's a visionary leader defying limits. When I read his profile, I was honestly amazed. What he has accomplished is enormous, even for a person with sight. What he has done despite his challenges is enormously inspiring and humbling. He lost his eyesight at the age of 5, and that could have defined his life. But he chose to define his own path and uplift people along the way. He's a fierce champion for the rights of the differently abled since 20 years. After graduation, he did a MSW course from TIS, and then he worked with the Human Rights Law Network extensively for the rights of persons with disabilities through research and representation to various courts. Currently, he is the social service superintendent at the JJ Hospital. It is thanks to his efforts that the differently abled are able to actively participate in voting. His PIL and relentless efforts have made railways improve the accessibility of railway stations, and he has enabled the increase of reservation in MADA for the differently abled from 1 to 4%. He is, of course, understandably the recipient of multiple awards at national and state levels. And despite his own challenges, he has built a legacy of empowerment. His life is a proof that true vision is not about sight, it is about the courage to create change. And we're really honored to have him on our panel today. Ratoola Kundu has trained. Okay. So Ratoola Kundu is trained as an urban planner with a background in sociology. She completed her doctoral studies from the University of Illinois in Chicago and then joined TIS as an assistant professor at the Center for Urban Policy and Governance at the School of Habitat Studies. So, in the interest of time, what I would say is that through her work and advocacy, she sheds lights on the struggles of the marginalized, reminding us that cities must be built for people and not just for profit. And I'm Savitha Rao, the author of Noise in Our Nation, a book that talks about how noise pollution affects physical and mental health of all age groups. Um, See, when we think of pavements, then this is one maybe a underappreciated fact of of the lack of pavements is that when we don't have pavements, pedestrians are obviously forced to walk on the road, and when they walk on the road, the motorists honk. So it's not just making the road unwalkable or difficult; it's also affecting everybody who lives in that neighborhood because you are subjected to incessant honking, and that noise is affecting everyone from a newborn to a senior citizen, everyone. When you think of a brief this thing on the impact on various age groups, the visually impaired, they use sound to navigate. So when the noise is levels in an area is very high, it makes it even more challenging for them to navigate. Senior citizens, when they are constantly in places of very high noise, they sometimes lose their balance. It affects their physical and mental health. Children are finding it difficult to concentrate. You would see a lot of people saying, oh, aajkal ke to bacche alag hain, but they are subjected to enormous kind of stressors, whether it is air pollution, noise pollution, the kind of processed food that they are getting. So it's affecting children, it's affecting everybody. Anyone who's ever been a patient or has someone who at home who's unwell, you go to a doctor, the doctor will give you medicines and a treatment protocol, and they'll say, please take rest. Rest means quality sleep. Rest is not just about lying horizontally on the bed. So the lack of rest is actually impeding recovery in people in high noise areas. Let's also be clear that the lack of pavement is not the only source of noise pollution, but it is an important source. So, noise has other sources of pollution as well. So, and medically, it has been proven that one night less sleep affects immunity. So that's just one night less sleep. So you imagine when this happens on an everyday basis for weeks, months, and years, the kind of toll that it is taking on the health of people. So pavements is not just pavements, it's affecting many more dimensions of physical and mental health of the residents of a city. Now, I'd like to invite Prakash ji to talk about how pavements affects mobility and accessibility for senior citizens.
Okay. Thank you, Savitha. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. I know it's a very long time. I know you must have also got some news on your WhatsApp. I also got it. So many people send me that the actor Manoj Kumar expired today. And when I read this news, suddenly I remember one song of Manoj Kumar that is from the film Shore. And I think which is related to this our total today's conclave that says, जीवन चलने का नाम चलते रहो सुबह और शाम. तो ये चलने का जो काम है मेरे ख्याल से जहां तक मुझे लगता है इट इज एप्लीकेबल टू अ ग्रुप ऑफ कम्युनिटी whom we call it as a senior citizen, the elderly people. They really like to walk. They enjoy the walking, and walking is the best exercise. And they want to walk, but they don't find the footpath. As far as the Mumbai is concerned today, I'm just giving the estimated figure because it says by 2024, Mumbai has a 21 million population. That is, and in that, there are senior citizen population. If you see, it is around 11%, so 23 lakh are the senior citizen in Mumbai. 53% are female. Around 30% senior citizen are alone. So even if you see, around 6.937 lakh elderly people are alone who want somebody to be with them. And when they are walking on the road, it is very difficult for them to walk on the road, cross the road, because a lot of problems are there. But at the same time, when they look for the footpath, they want to go and see the footpath, hardly they find any footpath in a good condition. Because most of the footpath either have been encroached, they have been dug up, or something is happening on the way there, or some jhopadpattis already are there. So for senior citizen, it is very difficult for them to walk every day. Even in lockdown, you must have seen, Savitha, most of the people were 24 hours in house. But now, because of this pedestrian, this condition of the footpath, now the senior citizen are enjoying that lockdown now only because they cannot go out. They have the fear. If they go out, they may fall down. Even their family members don't want them to go out because while walking, there are up and down, so many things are there. And even the senior citizen, those who are walking with the stick, they are also finding it very difficult. You can see this picture of the lady. This is a lockdown period, but today the same condition of senior citizen because they cannot go out. There is no proper footpath or a road for them to walk. And when I say the footpath, my dear friend, it is not just a communication. It is not the means of transport, but it is a mean of communication. I say it is a connectivity because they want to go out, meet with the people. They want to just go to the shopkeeper so that they can just talk, be with them. Nobody is there to coming to them with the senior citizen. Nobody is talking to them. They have already been lonely. And so these footpaths are today in Mumbai are not in that condition where senior citizen can enjoy the walking. And since they cannot have this walking, they cannot enjoy, it is affecting their health. Even many times they also seen their own people, relatives, they are coming by walking on the footpath, everything having lot of trouble and issues. By the time the person reach at home, the person is frustrated. जो सीनियर सिटीजन वांट टू स्पीक लेकिन आया हुआ बंदा पहले से फ्रस्ट्रेटेड है उनसे क्या बात करेगा तो सीनियर सिटीजन अगेन फील वेरी सैड कि मुझसे बात भी दिन भर तो मैं अकेला था या अकेली थी अब आके मुझसे बात भी नहीं कर रहे But when I was going through some report, just 1 minute I would like to say, I found there is a municipal corporation of Greater Mumbai, BMC had the footpath guidelines. And the guidelines say the pedestrian first. And this is a policy and a circular by BMC dated 30th June 2014. It is there already, the policy circular. Same policy they have been also amended, and in 2023, the same policy, and it says footpath should be regarded as a part of transportation system which is connected and continuous, just like roadways and railways. And also the circular also say the continuity of the pedestrian facility is very important for the pedestrian with disability and old age. And they also clearly mention in that how should be the footpath. They are given so many even instruction in that. They say an even surface without cracks or bumps for comfortable walking. For comfortable walking, my dear friend, the footpath are there, but the condition, today's condition, you know very well. See, as a senior citizen, I am telling you, because I am also 64-year-old. When I came to Mumbai, now I start believing in magic. जादू में मेरा विश्वास हो गया है बिकॉज रातों रात मैंने फुटपाथ गायब होते हुए देखे रातों रात मैंने फुटपाथ गायब हुए देखे दूसरे दिन मैं आता हूं मुझे समझ में आता फुटपाथ था या नहीं दूसरा रातों रात मैंने फुटपाथ आए हुए भी देखे हुए जो गायब थे वो सडनली आ गए कुछ दिन के लिए सो दिस इज द कंडीशन सो माय डियर फ्रेंड्स इट इज नॉट जस्ट ओनली फॉर सीनियर सिटीजन each every one of you and me are facing this problem so this conclave is giving us an opportunity that we must start doing something this awareness amongst everybody and let us work together दिस इज जस्ट अ बिगिनिंग टूडेज कनक्लेव लेकिन इसके बाद हम लोग मिलकर अगर काम करें तो मुझे विश्वास है ये एक दिन में नहीं होगा पर एक दिन जरूर होगा दैट इज व्हाट आई वांट टू से ओके
I'd like to now invite Raju ji to share his views.
Good evening. मैंने जो मेरा काम था मेरा एक्सेसिबिलिटी को लेके ही शुरू हुआ था। जैसे सविता ने मेंशन किया कि वोटिंग राइट्स एक्सेसिबल नहीं था और उसके साथ ही मेरा काम शुरू हुआ था कि वोटिंग प्रोसेस एक्सेसिबल होना चाहिए। नहीं, तर ये काम शुरू हुआ और उसके बाद जो वोटिंग प्रोसेस एक्सेसिबल हुआ, वही टाइम में हाई कोर्ट में भी ऑर्डर हुआ कि जो भी पब्लिक प्लेसेस हैं, पब्लिक बिल्डिंग्स है, पब्लिक्स जो भी प्लेसेस है, जैसे पार्क हुआ, पब्लिक बिल्डिंग्स है, गवर्नमेंट ऑफिस है, एक्सेसिबल होना चाहिए। और तभी बहुत ऑर्डर किया गया है कि रैंप बनाना चाहिए और जो भी रिक्वायरमेंट है वो होना चाहिए। लेकिन उसके बाद भी आज तक बहुत चीज़ें नहीं हुई है। और जो आज हम बात करें फुटपाथ की वॉकिंग के लिए और ईज़ी एक्सेस के लिए, तो ये बहुत डिसेबिलिटी के लिए तो बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट, जैसे अभी बुरगा सर ने बोला कि सीनियर सिटीज़न के लिए होना ज़रूरी है। और तो ये तो सबके लिए ज़रूरी है, लेकिन जो सीनियर सिटीज़न डिसेबल्स है उनके लिए तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, क्योंकि एक सेफ्टी इशू हो जाता है। अगर फुटपाथ है तो इजीली जाना आना जाने के लिए जो सेफ रास्ता हो जाता है, जहाँ से इजीली जा सकते हैं। अगर फुटपाथ नहीं है तो हम लोग रास्ते फुटपाथ के नीचे रास्ते से जाएंगे डिसेबल लोगों को, तो ब्लाइंड हो या जो ऑर्थोपेडिक है, जो एक क्रच यूज़ करते हैं, दो क्रचेस यूज़ करते हैं, तो अगर रास्ते से जाते हैं तो फुटपाथ के साइड में भी जगह नहीं होती है कि आपने जो फास्ट ट्रांसपोर्ट वाले बाइक वाले पार्क होते हैं, बाइक्स पार्क होते हैं, या फिर बाइक वाले फुटपाथ की तरफ से जाते हैं अगर रोड से चलेंगे तो दैट्स ऑल्सो वेरी रिस्की है कि डिसेबल लोगों के लिए, कि बाइक वाले, और ये सबको ही पता है कि बाइक वाले कितने जल्दी में होते हैं और कैसे जाते हैं। तो ये एक बात हुआ। दूसरा, फुटपाथ बहुत बार फुटपाथ कंडीशन में नहीं होते हैं, और जब हम लोग ब्लाइंड लोग स्टिक लेके चलते हैं या जो ऑर्थोपेडिक स्टिक्स लेके चलते हैं, तो स्टिक जो है ये एक बैलेंस का भी काम करती है। तो सडनली कहीं पे फुटपाथ पे खड्डे होते हैं, तो सडनली स्टिक उसके अंदर जाती है और हमें बैलेंस जाता है डिसेबल लोग का और ब्लाइंड लोग का भी। दूसरा है कि फुटपाथ से अगर नहीं चलेंगे तो एक ब्लाइंड लोगों के लिए एक नेविगेशन का प्रॉब्लम, जैसे अभी फुटपाथ पे जा रहे हैं और बिल्डिंग का गेट आता है, तो वहाँ पे फुटपाथ डिवाइड हो जाता है, मीन्स गेट के यहाँ पे एंट्री के यहाँ पे फुटपाथ नहीं होता है, तो समझ आता है कि यहाँ पे गेट है, बिल्डिंग का एंट्रेंस है। तो एक वो ब्लाइंड के लिए एक ईजी हो जाता है। अगर सेम सिचुएशन अगर रास्ते से चलेंगे तो वो नेविगेट नहीं कर सकते, और जैसे अगर न्यू एरिया में गए तो हम लोग ब्लाइंड लोग को ये डिफिकल्ट हो जाएगा कि नेविगेट करने के लिए यहाँ पे कोई गेट का एंट्री है। और सेम टाइम क्या होता है कि रोड पे नॉइज़ भी होता है, फिर रोड से जाने वाले व्हीकल्स वाले, वहाँ पे पब्लिक कोई मिलता नहीं कि पूछने के लिए हमको यहाँ पे जाना है। अगर एटलीस्ट गेट फुटपाथ से चलते हैं तो फुटपाथ पे लोग मिलेंगे, या फिर जहाँ पे एंट्री होता है तो वहाँ पे भी कोई आने जाने वाले मिल जा सकते हैं और उनको कम्युनिकेट कर सकते हैं। बहुत बार ये होता है कि फुटपाथ जब रिपेयर होते हैं, खोदा जाता है फुटपाथ को, तो जल्दी रिपेयर नहीं होता, और उसकी वजह से ये जो ईजी एक्सेस का प्रॉब्लम था कि जैसे खड्डा होता है, फिर समझ में नहीं आता कि ब्लाइंड को समझ में नहीं आता कि अब ये खड्डा है या लादी निकला है या ऐसे ही खोद के रखा है, क्या समझ में नहीं आता जब तक हम लोग उसमें एक तो रिस्क लेके देखना पड़ेगा कि आगे खड्डा है, स्टिक डाल के कि है या नहीं, या फिर किसी को पूछे बिना तब तब तक हमको वहाँ पे रुकना पड़ेगा कि किसी को पूछ के आगे खड्डा है, यहाँ जाना है मुझे, तो जाऊँ या नहीं जाऊँ। तो ये एक डिफ़िकल्टी है। दूसरा, जो खंभे लगाते हैं जहाँ पे फुटपाथ इन, जैसे हम लोगों ने मेंशन सुना है कि बाइक्स नहीं आना चाहिए, कार नहीं आना चाहिए। तो जब मेरे एरिया में है तो ठीक है कि मुझे पता हुआ है कि यहाँ पे है। अगर मैं न्यू एरिया में जाता हूँ और मुझे पता नहीं कि यहाँ पे बोलार्ड्स लगे हैं, तो जब स्टिक जो हम लोग चलाते हैं, स्टिक का एक मोबिलिटी होता है कि हमको स्टिक को जब हम जो स्टेप्स, जो पैर हमारा आगे जाता है फुट, उसके सामने उसको ये करना, प्लेस करना, रखना होता है। तो बहुत बार ऐसा पॉसिबल नहीं होता है, लेकिन ये मोबिलिटी का तरीका है चलाने का। तो जब न्यू एरिया में जाते हैं तो हम लोग जैसे बोलार्ड होते हैं, तो ये सडनली हमको आके लगता है ब्लाइंड लोग को, तो कहाँ लगेगा मुझे, बोलार्ड का जो खंभे होते हैं उनकी हाइट कितनी थी, 2.5 फीट, 3 फीट से कम होता है, वो तो सीधा जाके यहाँ पे लगेगा। तो दैट्स ये बहुत सारे अभी यहाँ पे आने से पहले भी मैंने तो ये एक्सेस में काम किया ही है और आज भी मैंने कुछ लोगों से बात भी किया कि आपको क्या तकलीफ है। तो बोलार्ड्स का बात आता है कि जो लगता है लोगों ब्लाइंड लोगों को। दूसरा जो फुटपाथ के साइड में रेलिंग लगाया होता है, ग्रिल या फेंसिंग किया होता है, तो जो जो फुटपाथ अच्छे हैं और जिस पे चलते हैं और रेलिंग लगा है, तो बहुत बार ये डिफिकल्टी होता है कि जो ब्लाइंड न्यू एरिया में है तो अभी पता नहीं कहाँ से कि कहाँ पे एंट्री है। तो जैसे हमको ब्लाइंड लोग को अंदर पिंजरा तो वैसे हो जाता है कि बाहर कहाँ से जाना है, कोई अगर मिलेगा तो ठीक है, नहीं तो फिर वो पूरा रेलिंग को ऐसे पकड़ के हमको पूरा जहाँ तक जब तक एंट्री नहीं मिलता तब तक ढूंढना पड़ेगा। और ये जो रेलिंग होता है ये सब क्लीन होगा ही, इसका कोई गारंटी नहीं होता है। इवन जो फुटपाथ है, फुटपाथ के बाजू में नाली जैसा, तो इसमें बहुत सारा गंदगी होता है। तो जब हम लोग स्टिक यूज़ करते हैं, स्टिक यूज़ करके चलते हैं तो वो स्टिक उसमें जाता है, और जब हम लोग स्टिक फोल्ड करते हैं या उसको हमको रखना होता है, वो जो भी गंदा है वो तो हमको उसको फेस करना पड़ता है। तो ये प्रॉब्लम है। और दूसरा इम्पोर्टेंट ये है कि डीसी रेगुलेशन में एक्सेसिबिलिटी के बारे में गाइडलाइंस दिया हुआ है कि किस तरह से जो भी स्ट्रक्चर है वो कैसे डिसेबल लोगों के लिए एक्सेबल होना चाहिए। तो उसमें बिल्डिंग्स है, पब्लिक प्लेसेस दिए हैं, पार्क्स दिए हैं, तो सबके लिए गाइडलाइंस दिया हुआ है कि कैसे होना चाहिए। और एक ये कि जो गाइडलाइंस की बात कर रहा हूँ, तो फुटपाथ अगर कहीं फुटपाथ भी है तो एक्सेलेरेटर के हिसाब से नहीं बनाया गया है। तो एक्सेलेरेटर का गाइडलाइन में क्या कहा है कि एक तो गाइडिंग पाथ होना चाहिए। गाइडिंग पाथ ये होता है कि एक डिफरेंट तरीके का टैक्टाइल, जैसे मेंशन किया था पंकज ने भी और संकेत ने भी, खाड़िलकर सॉरी। तो जो एक डिफरेंट अलग तरीके का टाइल्स बिठाना चाहिए ताकि जब ब्लाइंड लोग चलते हैं तो उनको फील हो ये अलग है और डिफरेंशिएट हो कि ये अलग है और ये अलग है। तो वो गाइडिंग पाथ होता है जो कंटिन्यूस एक बेल्ट जैसा बना जाता है स्टार्टिंग से एंड तक, कि ब्लाइंड को उस पर चलना है ताकि वो इजीली जाके पहुंच सकते हैं। और टर्निंग पे जैसे अभी कोई टर्निंग है तो उस टर्निंग के इधर भी अलग से टैक्टल किया जाता है कि ये मार्किंग है टर्निंग के लिए। जो हम लोग ने अभी अपने अगर देखा होगा तो रेलवे प्लेटफॉर्म पे दो तरह का, रेलवे के प्लेटफॉर्म के एंड पे एक अलग टाइल्स है और उसका एक कुछ डिस्टेंस पे दूसरा एक अलग तरह के टाइल्स लगा हुआ है। तो जो ब्लाइंड को वार्निंग देता है कि ये अब आप प्लेटफॉर्म के एज पे जा रहे हो या फिर ये गाइडिंग पाता है, इस पे आपको चलना है। तो वो आप जो गाइडिंग पाता है वो लीड करता है कि आपको एक तो एंट्रेंस की तरफ लीड करता है या फिर आप ब्रिज तक को आप पहुंचा देता है। ये प्लेटफॉर्म पे होता है। तो अगर ऐसे गाइडिंग पाथ ये नहीं होता है फुटपाथ पे, ये अगर सब होगा तो ब्लाइंड के लिए बहुत ईजी हो जाता है और नॉन स्लिपरी का भी एक उसका सपोर्ट मिल जाता है।
ग्रेट
तो
पॉइंट।
ये होना चाहिए और ये सबके लिए ईजी है क्योंकि सबके लिए ईजी यूजफुल है। जैसे स्लीप नहीं होता है, और जो फुटपाथ बनते हैं वो भी नॉन स्लिपरी होने चाहिए, एनी सीजन में होता है। और जो फुटपाथ का और एक चीज़ मैं बोलूँगा कि जो जिस तरह से नहीं होते कि फुटपाथ के एंड में और स्टार्टिंग में इजी एक्सेस के लिए स्लोप होना चाहिए, जैसे स्टेप्स नहीं होना चाहिए ताकि व्हीलचेयर वाले भी जा सकते हैं और सबके लिए आसान हो जाता है और इजी एक्सेस के लिए हो जाता है। तो ये पॉइंट्स। थैंक यू।
थैंक यू राजू जी।
Thank you.
Okay, now I invite Ratoola to share her views on mobility and how it affects the underprivileged.
It's a huge responsibility as one of the last speakers of a long, day just talking about walkability. I'd just like to point out that walking is a form of urban mobility and is influenced not only by individual physical and behavioral characteristics, but it is also by the objective and preconceived conditions of the built environment. This means what is framed as walkability has to encompass the urban form, the street materials, the traffic levels, as well as your perception of safety, unsafety. I think the speakers just before me highlighted what it means to be individually challenged, the physical issues as being sort of not so able to walk on these streets. But I'm going to be speaking about how the urban poor, who make up roughly 50% of our city's population, actually experience walking, especially in their everyday environments, which is in the informal settlements or the slums. So just today, I was speaking to my house help, Latatai, and Latatai, because she was sweating profusely, and she was huffing and puffing when she came in to work at my place. And I asked her, so Latatai, can you just describe, what is it for you to walk every day? Because I know she walks every day to come to work. And so she said that for her, she's a middle-aged woman, and she lives in the Govandi slums, and she's a single breadwinner in a family of 4. Okay. She works as a house help, almost 4 to 5 apartments, and she walks through the day. She works through the day, so to make up for the expenses, mounting expenses. Every day she walks one way, 30 to 35 minutes from the Govandi slums to come to Deonar. In the morning, she has to negotiate the chaotic and narrow roads of the Govandi slums, filled with autos, tempos, and really large trucks carrying garbage to the dumping ground in Deonar. This is her daily walking experience. She has to climb up 45 flights of stairs and cross a concrete and uncovered bridge over the railway tracks. She has to also cross over a stinking nala using a very rickety old bridge. This is after waking up early in the morning to cook for her entire family. And in the evening, she retraces this path. But on the way back, she has to pick up her usual vegetables from the haphazardly parked vendors and also has to dexterously avoid the drunk men and the garbage and the filth on the road, while also holding her breath to not breathe in the stench from the public urinals. The daily challenge of negotiating with this unsafe, unfriendly, and uncomfortable built environment is an assault to her senses: sound, smell, visual, and overall physical and emotional well being. And this is what she has done for the past 15 years. However, this is not the story of Latatai alone. Mumbai has 2,583 slum clusters, 1.2 million structures. 24% of Mumbai's area is covered by slums. Estimated 48.4% of Mumbai's 124 million population, this is 2011 census, lives in these densely populated areas. It has now been well established across scholarly work that walking is the dominant mode of transport in informal settlements of the cities in the global south. And almost none of the speakers so far have been even talking about what it means to be actually poor and walking in the streets of Mumbai. None. In fact, we have blamed the urban poor for encroaching on the pavements, on the footpaths. But this is the reality of people working for you, with you, to make our lives more comfortable every single day. The urban poor are captive users of walking. They usually try to find work at walkable distances. This is not simply because they're lazy. They cannot afford personalized transport, and sometimes they cannot even afford public transport. For them, walking is not a choice. It is not exercise. It is not breath work. It is not leisure. It is not well being. It is simply a means to get to work or get to school every day. But what is the condition of the infrastructure, the transport services, the surrounding built environment, and of the informal settlements through which they're walking every single day? Not just Latatai, her children, her girls who are going to school in the same informal settlements. Almost 2,800 something of them. What does it mean? What are the implications when you have to walk in these conditions? What do I mean by these conditions? Now, we heard that the island city of Mumbai is blessed with wide footpaths. In the suburban areas, the municipal commissioner said, well, we don't have such wide footpaths, but at least some stretches have footpaths. The places I'm talking about in these informal settlements, you do not have road networks. You at best have discontinuous pathways through which you have to make your way every day. These are unplanned, haphazard the layouts of these settlements. There is no clear road hierarchy. There is no continuous road networks within this. So basically, it's a steeplechase Olympics kind of an event that you have to participate every day just to do your basic things, meaning get your water, even sort of to access the toilet, because many of them do not have their own toilets in their houses. So women and adolescent girls have to hold in their urge in the night because it's unsafe. They don't have streets, and the toilets they have to access are on the edges of their informal settlements. Right? So this is the reality that we're dealing with, right? And they, of course, have to wheel through garbage, fierce dogs feeding on the garbage, the stench, and everything else. Yeah, it is depressing. I think if we all walked in these settlements, it would create a difference. I have my students at TIS do this walkability audit that cuts across Chembur, where Pankaj Joshi showed his really nice pavements, across to Govandi. And it shocks them. It shocks the light out of them. And sometimes my students also say, so what do we do about this? Where do the answers lie? And frankly, even as a professor, I don't know, because these are larger questions that we're not talking about. And I think it was raised in the last panel when we said perhaps our dreams, our aspirations, and those who define how the city is being governed, how the city is being built, is going towards a place where there is a point of no return. We are building for those with cars. We're not really thinking of the majority, the 50%, who perhaps will never own a car, a cycle at best. Thank you.
I just would like to just add one thing. WHO guideline already is there about the age-friendly city, and it is mandatory for everybody, even the government of India. Now the Prime Minister is also talking about the age-friendly city. As far as the senior citizen is concerned, in 1999, which was the year of International Year of Older Person, there is a policy given by all the NGOs to the government of India. That is a national policy of older person. So in that policy also it is clearly mentioned that the age-friendly city has to be there, the infrastructure should be there, so that elderly should not find any problem. So even in BMC, because since we are talking about all this BMC, Rishi, BMC also is the first municipal corporation in India who has the senior citizen policy. No municipal corporation has the senior citizen policy. Maharashtra also has the senior citizen policy, which is declared on 1st October 2013. It clearly says the age-friendly city, and in that there is a talk, they say about the transportation. In transportation, there is column for road and the footpath. It has to be senior citizen friendly, not only senior citizen, but it is for everybody. But since I am representing that group, that's what I'm telling you. Under this policy, it is clearly mentioned. So what I mean to say, my dear friends, सब कुछ है, policy है, सब कुछ है, लेकिन implementation नहीं है. We have to work together, united, and force the government to implement it. Not asking for any more policy or circular. सब कुछ जगह पे है, सिर्फ हमें एकजुट मिलकर उनको दिखाना है, ये आप ही की पॉलिसी है, अभी आपको इंप्लीमेंट करना है, और उसके लिए अगर आप चाहे तो हमें इन्वॉल्व कर सकते हैं. See, we are not just asking them. to just do it everything. You can take help from us. We all NGOs, all community people can come together, can tell government we can be a part of this implementing or monitoring process, so we can do it. And I think this is will be the good beginning. That just I would like to just add this.
Nahi, Prakash ji, absolutely. I think you made a very powerful point, and that is exactly the purpose of this conclave. I mean, I think it's first time in the city that we are getting together just so narrowly walking. I mean, otherwise there'll be meetings on transportation, and we know what those meetings on cities transportation are. They celebrate the coastal road, they celebrate the 400-kilometer metro, and that's the vision of the future where we see the pictures of the ceiling, etc. But such a narrow focus, and I think our work will start after this conclave. I think we'll have to. The big work for us is how do we continue to convene and have a time-bound plan, or in fact, just to add to the point you made, I have a very tough relationship with BMC. अभी 25 साल हो गए मेरे को BMC के साथ काम करते हुए. मेरे को आप बुलाओगे तो मैं खुद से BMC की बहुत बुराई करूंगा और सब करूंगा. लेकिन कोई अगर दूसरा बुराई करता है तो मैं BMC के डिफेंस में आ जाता हूं, क्योंकि जो जो आपने पॉइंट्स बोले कि इट इज रियली द वन ऑफ द फाइनेस्ट म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशंस इन द कंट्री. आप 100-150 साल की लेगेसी देखो तो इट इज द फाइनेस्ट. एंड इसलिए और भी ज्यादा दर्द होता है, और भी ज्यादा दुख होता है कि इतनी अच्छी बॉडी बीएसटी के साथ में हम क्या कर रहे हैं, बाकी सब जो पॉलिसीज हैं इट्स रियली कटिंग एज. बाकी शहर आप देखोगे तो इतने आगे नहीं है, और जितना होते हुए फिर भी हम ऐसे सफर कर रहे हैं. इट्स रियली वेरी पेनफुल एंड सैड.
सीनियर सिटीजन आम आदमी को क्या चाहिए? सुबह 6 बजे उठ के दूध लाने जाना है, वो फुटपाथ पे जूसे जाना है. फुटपाथ ही सही नहीं है तो कहाँ से दूध लाएगा वो? उसे वो चाहिए घर के बाहर वो जाए कम से कम खुली हवा में, लेकिन वही नहीं हो रहा है. दैट्स व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू टेलिंग यू ऑल ऑफ यू पीपल. बाहर जाना है मुझे, लेकिन रोड नहीं है. रोड तो छोड़िए, फुटपाथ भी नहीं है. कोस्टल रोड आपने बनाया, बहुत अच्छा है, सब कुछ है, लेकिन आज सीनियर सिटीजन सुबह 5 बजे उठ के जाते हैं, वो बच्चों को छोड़ने जाते हैं फुटपाथ पे. 2-4 बार आके लोग को हाय लोग करते हैं, वही नहीं हो रहा है. अब पहले अलोन है, और सबसे बड़ी बात है कि लॉन्जिविटी बढ़ गई है. माय डियर फ्रेंड, आई ऑलवेज टेल वी आर गोइंग टू लिव अप टू द एज ऑफ 90, रिमेंबर. तो ये कॉन्क्लेव जो है ना, ये आप मेरे बारे में नहीं है, आने वाली जनरेशन के लिए है. और आने वाली जनरेशन में सिर्फ और सिर्फ सीनियर सिटीजन रहने वाले हैं, बिकॉज टुडे वी आर हैविंग 177 million senior citizens. By 2050 it will be 337. Out of 5, 1% will be elderly. तो बस सोच लीजिएगा आप हमारे लिए क्या चाहिए और क्या नहीं चाहिए.
One small thing, Savitha, permit me. We have Dr. Rekha Bhatkande. She's the Dean of Sushruta Citizens Hospital. She raised a wonderful point. We don't have a Q&A, but she very emphatically raised the point that one important thing which we are missing over here is we are designing city for cars. So this is again this coastal road. सब हम जब बात करते हैं, we don't do the number crunching. कितने लोग coastal road से travel कर रहे हैं, कितने लोग अगर आप समझिए कि local train से 70 से 80 लाख लोग travel कर रहे हैं दिन में. All of them are walking. All of them. वो local train से जा रहे होंगे, लेकिन स्टेशन के बाहर access and then origin destination. All of them. तो आप सिर्फ numbers देखोगे तो एक तो हम बोल रहे हैं democracy है कि largest number of people should benefit. Then largest number of people are not benefiting at all. So that's I just want to acknowledge आपका point and thank you for raising that with me.
So I'd like to just end the panel discussion saying that change starts with awareness. Obviously, y'all are an aware audience who chose to make the time to be here and to participate in a discussion. Okay. So the real thing is that we need, as citizens, we need to be demanding change, participating in it, writing to the authorities, collaborating. It could be supporting initiatives like the walking project, support with your time, maybe will contribute. Yeah, I'll come to you. Contribute. So make a difference. If you don't have the time, support those who are making the time to focus on such important issues. Let's each one of us be that change. And as Prakash ji very aptly said, एक दिन में नहीं होगा, पर एक दिन हो सकता है if we all put in our efforts together.
Just would like to end on a hopeful note also, that when I asked Latatai about her experience, she said people do come together to also build pave the roads with their own money. They've also built bridges over nalas just to make crossing easier for the school children and the women who are going to work. So community forces do work even on their own initiatives to create these changes. But of course, it's far too little given that, the sum of the problem is so large. So I think it requires a much larger structural shift in the way we think about cities, about the urban poor, who they are, where they're working, how they get to work, and how do we design our cities to be not just walkable friendly, but also friendly towards, 50% of the population, not invisibilize them.
Just one question from Sudhir. We'll have a quick impromptu Q&A.
It is not a question. I just wanted to tell everybody it is not us and them. It is our government. We have to tell them you are our government and you have to do all these things. What we need. We can't take it lying down saying that they are not doing their work. We have to tell them you are our government and you have to do it.
Thank you for the very, very emphatic way of putting it.